Maz has been one of the most impressive people in our division ever since he started. He has been a top performer in the sales rep position. He has been the best pilot sales manager in all of Vector Marketing history under Drew. They won several silver cups with him at the helm, broke several records that may never be broken ever again under his leadership. And now he's the district manager in the North Denver office. This last year, their team chant is, we're not here to take part, we're here to take over. And last year they felt just shy of their goal of the #1 office in all of Vector Marketing. But I know this year they are back with a vengeance and a #2, finishing off the year strong, being that #2 person. They've been 2, they've been 3, they've been 4, they've been everything but that one. And this year they're going to take home that Silver Cup National Championship. He's going to be teaching you guys how to add more people to your list. And this is his strong suit as a manager. His assistant managers have lots of names. His reps have lots of names. He has lots of creative solutions for you to expand your list. So take notes, grab your cell phones. We're going to be writing down a lot of names, and take it over, Mr. Alex Mezrich.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dad. Thank you. Dope. All right, let's do this. I really enjoy this message because I like when you guys make a lot of money. The only way to make a lot of money is have a lot of people to call. It's very simple. If the funnel is bigger at the top, it's going to be bigger at the bottom. We got to make a huge funnel at the top. That's what my job here is going to be today. Now, here's what I want to preface. First thing I want you guys to write down in your notes. Bold it, capitalize it, italicize it, underline it, put stars around it. Full send. Full, you can put a cuss word right in the middle of it, your favorite one. Full effing freaking send it. That's it. That is so important when you're about to do this activity. This activity changed my life. This activity that we're going to do is the only reason that I'm sitting here right now. It's the only reason I have a house, paid for college. It is first and foremost. And at the time, I remember doing this as a rep, and I called all of my leads way too early. When I was a brand new rep, Drew said, don't call your referrals till I teach you how. I called all of them. And I burned through every single one of them. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, and I had no leads. And I was like, okay, I don't think I can do this job anymore. She's like, well, how many referrals do you have? And I was like, about that. She's not happy with me about that. She's like, well, every single time this happens, we're going to rebuild. There's always a way to get more people on your list. We did this 2 or 3 times in my career, and every single time I was adding 60, 70 more people on it that I hadn't originally thought of. And it wasn't because I didn't write down my full send. And the way that I want you guys to think about this, we're about to do a chicken list exercise. There's different ways to go about it, but how I want you to view this is any concern, any worry that you have in your mind about reaching out to people that you haven't talked to in forever, people that you went to school with, people that maybe they make you nervous because of whatever reason you think they hate you or they're really mean. Whatever that fear is that you have in your mind, realize that that is completely made up by you. It's meaningless. It is actually fabricated by this part of our brain that's still living thousands of years ago that thinks, oh, this thing is making you nervous. You're probably going to die if you do it. If you call that person from high school that you haven't talked to in 4 years, you're going to die. That's what your brain thinks because it doesn't know the difference yet. Right? Because anything that makes you nervous or uncomfortable, your brain automatically jumps to, yeah, death. You're going to die. And then you do it. And then she would do this with me. She was like, okay, Maz, we're going to call Mrs. Ellis. I talked to Mrs. Ellis in like 10 years. I didn't even know if she was going to know who I was anymore. And I was nervous. Like my heartbeat was pumping so freaking fast just to call somebody. That's ridiculous when you say that out loud. I was so nervous to just call somebody. And that was just my brain being scared. I called her. One of my buddies who had started the job 3 weeks after me, he had already sold her a homemaker set. So I missed out on that opportunity. And then I called the next person and then the next person. And every single time I called somebody, that heartbeat slowed down. It was my brain realizing that, oh, that didn't kill us. Holy cow, we're still alive. You called that person you have talked to in forever and we're still standing. It's crazy. But every time you're nervous, just do it. Take the step because that's immediate growth in your brain. So that's what I wanted to start off with. Too many of us not living our dreams because we are living our fears. The quote that stood out to me at the beginning of this job was life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So if this pushes you, if this makes you take those steps, you're in the right place. You're doing the right thing. Because as small as it is, calling somebody that you haven't talked to in forever, it's a big deal for some people. And every time you do it, you're becoming a better person and a better individual. And then later on in life, when you have to do things that make you nervous, you can pull from these experiences and realize that you're going to survive. So first and foremost, we also have people out there to call. There's so much potential. We got a ton of people that we haven't tapped into. There's probably a lot of people that we're just not comfortable calling, and we've already been over that. So don't make excuses about how you've reached out to everybody that you already could have. I promise you, you have not yet. Excuses are the nails used to build a house of failure. Push yourself. It's all about making it happen no matter what. And the reality of the situation is, from being in this business for 9 years, with the way social networking is these days, you could sell $30,000 to your personal network. You really could. You would not have to call a referral until $30,000 in sales if we actually did this the right way. A great example, sitting on the call right now, is Jake Bergman. Jake didn't call a single lead until he had sold about $25,000. He had hundreds of people to call after that, but for starting off the job, he was just reaching out to everybody because he's like, well, if I know their son or daughter, or they know me somehow, why would I not at least try? They're going to hear about Cutco. Realize that everybody that you know, or every son or daughter of somebody that you know, their parents, their family, everyone's going to hear about it. They're going to run into it at Costco. They're going to refer to it by somebody. Everybody's going to have Cutco in their kitchen. I don't care who they are. At some point, it is just bound to happen. I would rather you be the person to sell to them. I would rather you be the one to make money, or you the one to take a no and they don't want to do a demo with you, and then you move on living the rest of your life like you would have already, like you were already planning on doing. So, oh, and then the last thing, well, screw it. Let's keep going. Yeah, the worst thing that happens is they say no. You're not going to die. You're not going to get blackmailed by the world or shunned for all eternity for asking them for a freaking knife demo. So rip the Band-Aid off. And I'm going to tell you one story before we go into how to do this and process that we're going to take. But there was a girl. I'm going to really be brief on this. But there was a girl in the South Denver office. She worked up here in North Denver as well. Her name is Devin Foster. And Devin, she sold like $25,000 her first summer on the job. Did a really good job. She was going to be an assistant manager the following summer. Went away to college. She had tons of leads. The scholarship notebooks that we all have, she had 3 of those filled up with recommendations. She was set for next summer. She was ready to come back and rock. She went away to college. When she came back, in the transition of moving, she lost everything. She lost all of her stuff. Every lead that she had was gone. So she came back, sitting $25,000 in sales, but with nothing to show for it. She had 0 people on her list, and she was talking with Drew and I, and she was mad freaking out. She wanted to become a top assistant manager, but she had nobody to call. And so we were sitting there. By the way, she had been kicked out of her home, terrible family situation. She was living out of her car for weeks on end, jumping from couch to couch. Devin had no money. Her back was completely against the wall. At 18 years old, she was living on her own with absolutely nothing to show for, nothing to her name. So crazy, interesting things happen when you put yourself back against the wall. Because she was sitting there, and the decision was, we figure out a way to get names on the list, or you have to go get an hourly job. She did not want to get an hourly job. She had worked all the crappiest hourly jobs out there. They all take advantage of the work ethic that people like us put in. She was done with that. And so we sat down, we're like, okay, well, how are we going to do this? And Drew was like, how many friends do you have on Facebook? And she was like, probably 1,000. He's like, all right, well, how many of those people do you actually know? And she's like, well, maybe a couple hundred. And he's like, okay, well, how many people do you actually talk to on a pretty regular basis? And she was like, probably 5. And he's like, okay, so you're telling me there's about 1,000 people on there that you don't talk to. You got no plans of talking to them, and they're just sitting in there? And she's like, knew where this was going. She's like, yeah. He's like, okay, so if we reached out to them for a demo or a friend's parent's number, what's the worst thing they could say? No. And then you go on living your life, never talking to that person ever again, like you were already planning on doing. Nothing changes. Literally nothing changes. The best thing that happens is you get some leads. You get some new people on your list. That leads to fresh referrals. That leads to great demos. That leads to advancement. All of these things happen if we just try and reach out. So the message, we all have it in our manuals right now. All of that was created from this one instance with Devin. Devin and Drew sat down, created this script. It has changed the absolute game. And I know some of you have gone through this already. Some of you have heard this exact message before, but it's so helpful. And so we sat down and we started messaging these people. And at first, it's just asking them for their phone number. Now, I got Daniel in the office. He's going to be branch manager here soon. He was in the office the other day. He's at about $30,000 in sales. He was literally just calling people over the Facebook Messenger app. Kids that he hadn't talked to since high school. It pops up the same as a phone call. So he was just calling everybody through Facebook Messenger, skipping the, hey, can I have your number really quick? I got a question for you. It's about a scholarship. I'm trying to win for school. You just skip that and just straight up called them. But at the time, we didn't do that. So Devin started messaging these people. And by the way, she wasn't completely gung-ho on this. We started at A and we went to Z. Now, we'd be getting to some people and she'd look at some people that were on her Facebook and she'd be like, She's like, I don't want to do that one. And I just did this all with her. It took us a couple of days of going through everything. And she'd be like, nope. And we got to this one kid in specific, and she got to him and she's like, I refuse. He's like, I will not send that person a message. And I was like, who is it? And she's like, it's my ex-boyfriend from 6th grade. We dated for a week. I haven't talked to him since. And so this kid is OG. He's back in the day. And I was like, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? she's like, I really don't want to. And I was like, I'll just do it for you. It's a copy and paste. She's like, whatever. So I was like, copy, paste, boom, send. We're moving on. Now we're just going down. 15 minutes goes by. This kid pops up. And he pops up on the screen. And his response is, K, question mark? And then his phone number. So we got the kid's phone number. And she's like, I refuse. She's like, I'm not calling. And I was like, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst thing that could happen? And I was like, I'll press dial for you. And so we have the phone out. I type the number in. I'm like, you freaking got this. 3, 2, 1, dial. It's ringing. I put it on speaker so I could hear. So I want to make sure she reads the script word for word. She builds 0 rapport. She's just like, hey, I need you to do me a favor. I'm calling all my friends right now. I started this great new job. I'm a huge contest earner scholarship. I've got to do this quick presentation for people that are over 30 and on home. I was thinking your parents met that description. I've actually got to call them and ask them proceed about. So even if they're too busy to do it, that's fine. Help me, just call them and ask them about it. So who'd be easy to talk to? Your mom or your dad? She just hit it. And he's like, oh, my mom's pretty nice. Number. She went and sold that lady a red homemaker on Valentine's Day. She sold 5 other homemakers they lived in a cul-de-sac. She sold homemakers to every lady because all they just said was like, what would she get? And they just got that too. She sold over $6,000 to this neighborhood, and plus all the leads that she got from there, she ended up selling right around $50,000 around management. She took over as a lead sales manager in the pilot office, changed her life, went on to be selling $1 million homes and new home sales. It just revolutionized everything for her. And all it was, the worst thing that kid says is no. I haven't talked to you in 8 years. She's still alive today. That kid hasn't had any effect. So That's why I said you guys write down at the beginning is full send. Go all in. This job could absolutely change your life if you let it, but a lot of the times we just need a couple more people on our list. We need a couple more people to fine tune our skills, memorize our recommendations approach, get CPR certified. The more people you got, the more people that are in your network, take advantage of that. So right now, we're going to be focused on mission 100 to 200. If you're not at mission 100 yet, that's what this activity is going to be all about, getting you to 100 names and numbers. If you're over 100, let's get you to 2, let's get you to 300. That's where we become a top rep and unstoppable in this business. So there are avenues. So first thing I want you guys next thing I want you guys to write down is the process. Let's talk about how we're going to do this. Some of this you're going to have to do on your own. Some of it we're going to do today. But the first part of this process is you need to reorganize your original list. Go back into your manual. Go back to pages 20 and 21. Those are still the pages. I know we have a new manual. Should be around there. Go back to your original list, that list that you brought with you to training. Go back. Anybody who has not answered still, anybody who said, hey, I'm busy, call me back, anybody who had to cancel or reschedule on you, put them back in. So we need to reorganize that. Everybody went through advanced training and went through a chicken list exercise, similar to this one. Organize that as well. On page, I don't know in the new manual. On page 22, I believe. Nope, 20 now. On page 20, there's a completely blank page in your manual listed 1 through 60. That would be a great place to start reorganizing your leads. So that's first under the process is your original list. Second thing are your referrals. Take down all the recommendations that you've gotten, all the good leads that you got. Does not matter how long ago you had them. Jared Dupre was in the office. He came in this past Sunday for an 8-hour call day. He's focused on doing 8 hours of calling every single Sunday, calling through his list multiple times so he can go into the week with 10 to 15 demos pre-booked every single week. And Jared's been around for a little over a year now, about a year and a half. And he took out all of his old scholarship notebooks, all of the old people that hadn't answered him at the very beginning of the job, called them all again. He got like 4 or 5 demos just from doing that. So it doesn't matter how long you've been around, call everybody. There's people who haven't answered. Sometimes, I got into a phase of thinking that leads could go stale. It's not true because they don't know when you were referred to them. It doesn't matter. When I was a rep, we didn't even have the texting program. We just called everybody. They had no idea who we were, why we were calling them. We just called everybody. So it doesn't matter when you refer to them. They have no idea really. Now you guys have the texting that helps exponentially. And then the next thing under the process, so we have your original list, we have your referrals. The third thing is the chicken list. I have some categories for you guys under the chicken list that we can think about. Full send, all caps, underlined, italicized, bolded, start, go all in. So the first thing, the first category under chicken list is the talk. You know how your parents had the talk with you? This is not gonna be like that. But you need to have the talk with your parents. Because I guarantee you, they have not given you everybody. I know this for a fact. My parents did this to me. They started the job, thought it was the weirdest thing that I wanted to sell knives. They gave me like 10 people that I already had on my list. Here's what they were doing. They were testing if I was actually going to do this. They were testing the waters to see if I was going to take this job seriously. They weren't just going to give me everybody if I wasn't actually going to work hard at the job. As soon as they saw that I was actually in, I was invested, I was engaged. Mary Kate, my manager at the time, taught me how to sit down and have a conversation with my parents, and I just laid out all my goals. I wanted to become assistant manager. I wanted to become a lead rep on the team. I wanted to grow. I was learning a ton. I wanted to help pay for school. I had all these things that I wanted to do. They didn't know that at the time, but when I sat down and said, I need your help, the only way I can become a top rep is if I have a ton of leads. The only way I can get a ton of leads if I show a lot of people Cutco. I'm not looking for people you think would buy everything, mom, dad. I just need some great people that I can actually hang out with. That's it. So let's go through. Let's go through everybody we sent our Christmas cards to. Let's go through everybody that was at my graduation party. Let's go through the old directories. Parents typically have like old Rolodexes, like roll through those. Hit their cell phone list. And this is a big one. Jared Dupre in our office has absolutely crushed this, but mom and dad's Facebook. If you haven't hopped on your Facebook, go to your parents' Facebook and click on their friends list and scroll through that guy with them, you're missing out. What Jared has done is he got permission from his mom on the front end, but he's like, hey mom, can I send a message to all your friends on your Facebook, seeing if they'd be willing to do a demo with me? She was like, hell yeah, absolutely. She's very supportive of his goals. He's going for a silver cup this year personally. He's done this 3 times. But the message is like, hey Cindy, I know this is super out of the blue, but my name's Jared Dupre. Whatever his mom's name is, I should know this. Mrs. Dupre's son. I'm working really hard right now for a scholarship. I have a super quick question for you. Could I grab your phone number? And he's just gathering phone numbers from his mom's Facebook, calling them up, booking demos with them that way too. So that's a great one under chicken list. Another one, next category, which you guys write down, is your neighborhood. How many people have you actually shown in your neighborhood? Have you shown the person in front of you, behind you, to the right, to the left, 2 doors down, 3 doors down, 4 doors down? You're in the neighborhood. You can go say what up to them. Do you see them out on the street? That was my biggest chicken. My biggest chicken ever was Seth. Seth lived catty corner to us, and terrified of the guy because he hated my guts. All throughout high school, I played basketball out in my what is it called? Driveway. Until like 1 a.m. I would wake his kids up all the time. I got yelled at by that guy endless times. And this one time I was heading to the office to make phone calls, and Seth is out there playing ball with his kids like he always is. And I was like, do it. I was like, freaking just do it. Don't be such a little. All right. And so I like pump myself up, walk over there. I'm like my board shorts, tee. And I'm like, hey, Seth, I got this job. I show Cutco. I get paid. You don't have to buy anything, but I got to do a lot of appointments. Can I show you? And he's like, can you do it right now? And I was like, yeah, I'll get my stuff. And I was not professional. I had like my long black socks on. I was like, rolled over there, sold like $300 worth of stuff. Nothing big, but I got over 10 leads from this guy. He gave me the lead to my biggest order ever, which was right around $5,000, which was his father-in-law, who owns an electrical company. And so never would have had that. Full send. Full send. Next, siblings, bribe them. Give them free stuff. Buy them a new Call of Duty. I don't care what you got to do. Take them out. If they're really young, easy. Give them candy. If they're a little older, they're a little bit more expensive. They want some of this. I promise you it's worth it. Lacey Jones, she moved here from Montana. She, by the way, Kevin, I don't even know when I'm supposed to end. Could you tell me really quick? Is it now? 3 minutes?
You got till 50.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you. So yeah, Lacey moved here from Montana and knew nobody here. Her brother was in middle school, and she's like, and this was actually prepping her for her fast start. She's like, if you can give me 100 names and numbers of kids' parents that you go to school with, I'll buy you an Xbox. And an Xbox at the time was like $600-700. She sold $9,000. She didn't hit 10K in 10 days, but she sold $9,000 all over virtual appointments to all of it. And he just got the freaking, I don't know, probably a directory from his middle school and just hooked her up with it. And all she had to say was like, yeah, my little brother goes to school with your son at the middle school. And I was calling to see if you could help me with a scholarship. I'm trying to earn for school. You can call anybody. If you have a connection with them, you're in. There's some relation there. And then obviously this is a given, but your own personal social media. Roll through that. And what you can do is if you find some people that you went to high school with back in the day, maybe you found some people that you were in a club with back in the day or played a sport with back in the day, click on their friends list, roll through their friends list and see if they thought jog anybody for you too. Do some digging. Because here's the beauty of this. I have been in a point in my business where I did not memorize my referrals approach soon enough and I was running out. Some of you guys might be there. The minute I memorized that, got it down word for word, took off. But there was a point where I was running out of leads. I didn't have a ton left. All it took was 10 demos. It takes 10 demos. If you can do 10 demos in a week or a 2-week period, and before you go do those 10 demos, you fine tune the crap out of your approach. Mary Kate made me sit in a corner and I wasn't allowed to leave the office until I got it down perfectly. And then she said, what do you do when you go to your demos? I was like, I listen to music. She's like, you're not allowed to listen to music anymore. You got to recite your referrals approach as you go to these demos. And I was just reciting. I was like asking the car in front of me for referrals. And stuff I'd look out, see if I got it right. And then I would give myself an objection. I would handle that too. All it took was 10 demos, getting 5 to 10 referrals on those 10 demos. I had 50 to 100 brand new leads after that. Like you are back. It starts here. So you could do what Devin did and go A to Z and message everybody. All the more power to you. But you don't have to. Not everybody is living out of their car, hopefully, right now. She had no choice. Crazy things happen when you have no choice, though. But if you go out and you put yourself out there even a little bit more than you are, reach out to a couple more people, 10 to 20 brand new names and numbers can do a world of good for your business. And especially if you prep for them the right way and you go after it. So find a way to get that. So my assignment for you guys is sit down with your DM or the assistant managers and go after prepping this. Now, a lot of this is going to be on you to take the time. Come into office on one of your phone jam days, sit down with an AM, role play the page 31 approach on how to call a friend the right way and not sound like an idiot. Smile, build a little bit of rapport at the beginning. That way you can make it less awkward. You can call anybody. But commit to it. I promise it's going to benefit your business.